And welcome. You're watching Head to Head. I'm Antonina Antosha with UATV. The Lefortovo Moscow City Court on April 17th again extended the detention of 24 Ukrainian servicemen, this time until July 24th and July 26th. The servicemen have been held since November 25th, 2018, when they were captured and their vessels were seized near the Kerch Strait by Russia using military force with no justification. To discuss this, we're joined in the studio today by Ivan Lishchyna. He's Ukraine's Deputy Minister of Justice and Government Commissioner for European Court of Human Rights. Hello, and thank you for joining us.
Hello.
So first of all, let's give some evaluation of Russia's actions that took place on 25th of November of 2018 when three Ukrainian Navy vessels were seized and people were captured. Sailors were captured, and now they are being illegally held behind bars and are recognized as prisoners of war.
Right. The taking of Ukrainian sailors, the attack on Ukrainian ships, on Ukrainian military vessels, the detention, all that actions were unlawful from the point of view of international law, specifically unlawful from the point of view of the UN Convention on Sea and European Convention of Human Rights. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly why Ukraine, as a government, filed the relevant application with the European Court of Human Rights, claiming that both the attack on the ships using lethal force and taking and detention of Ukrainian sailors contradicts European Convention.
Is there any decision on that lawsuit that has been filed?
At the moment,
any results?
No, unfortunately. Unfortunately, at the moment, the only good thing, there is a decision already in place. It's a preliminary decision on where European Court of Human Rights partially granted our request for so-called Rule 39 request. That is a request which is filed as an intermediary measure in order to secure a certain situation where there is a risk of a huge violation of human rights, which would not be cured at the judgment if non-actions are taken. European Court of Human Rights ordered the Russian authorities to secure relevant medical aid to the wounded Ukrainian sailors. So far, no further decisions we've received from the court.
And what about the fact that, according to the Third Geneva Convention, the captured Ukrainian sailors are supposed to be released because they consider themselves prisoners of war, and the European community considers them to be prisoners of war?
That is one of the grounds why we filed this application with the European Court of Human Rights. What we are claiming that breach of treatment of Ukrainian sailors, their treatment and breach of this Geneva Convention third, constitutes also a breach of European Convention, specifically Article 3, which is the right not to be tortured, and Article 5, the right to liberty, basically prohibition of unlawful arrest. So that is exactly why we filed, and the breach of Geneva, unfortunately, Geneva Convention in itself does not have a mechanism of supervision, unlike European Convention of Human Rights, which provides creates European Court of Human Rights. So basically, what we did, we wrapped our application inside the European Convention of Human Rights, but in itself, in its core, it's basically a complaint about the violation of Geneva Convention.
Is there any way or a method that could actually make Russia follow the Geneva Convention? Because clearly it is a violation.
I believe that the only, at the moment, available method of legal pressure on the Russia is actually the European Convention of Human Rights. It's the only convention, the only European Court of Human Rights is the only body to which Russia joined, and the supremacy of judgments of which it acknowledges, at least for the time being. So that is why probably European Convention is one of very few mechanisms which could be used in this particular situation. It is not exactly specifically designed to deal with these issues. However, the European Court of Human Rights has already adopted several decisions related to armed conflicts, including decisions with references to Geneva Convention.
I have a quote by our president, Petro Poroshenko. Here's what he said. For the Russian Federation, it is a political game and blackmail. And for us, it is a struggle for the fate of our citizens and respect for the requirements of international law. Whatever the aggressor does, his actions are already tied down with measures we have taken. These are diplomatic pressure, the procedures launched by the European Court of Human Rights, and the mechanism for the forced settlement of the dispute under the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea. Could you comment?
Diplomatic pressure is, of course, the must which should be taken. Unfortunately, the problem is diplomatic pressure can go only thus far. And unless, and of course, nobody is going to declare war in Russia with respect to the situation. So unless there is no specific military power backing up this the diplomatic pressure, it's only the Russian goodwill to follow or not to follow the international law. Again, as I say, the only methods which we know are going to work are the legal methods which we're using. Basically, we started to prepare the first application for Rule 39 when basically we learned from media that the situation is taking place. It is as soon as Ukrainian sailors were taken, we got together. I called my team. And we started preparing immediately the application. So we understood from the very beginning, without any specific orders or instructions, that this should be done immediately.
Okay, well, we all know that presidential elections are going to happen in Ukraine very soon. Do you think that the situation with the prisoners of war that are illegally being held in Russia could change after the presidential elections in Ukraine actually take place?
Well, this is far beyond my expertise as a lawyer or deputy minister, but from rumors that I hear, it is a possibility that after elections, Russia might show it as a goodwill to release at least some of sailors. I know that within even the Russian power structure, there is serious considerations with respect, at least with respect to Ukrainian sailors, private sailors. I mean, the lowest rank of sailors, because I mean, what they are being charged with is that they all together as a group intentionally broke the Russian border. And in this situation, it is unclear what exactly the private sailor should do to avoid doing that. I mean, should he, jump into the water overboard? This is kind of impossible. And this is not like the idea that is held by the highest echelon of the Russian power structure. Obviously, they have their own agenda, but within like the middle administrative management layer, there are certain discussions are being taken with respect to at least to the private sailors.
Well, we're all very, very much looking forward for all of the prisoners of war to be released and for the Ukrainian citizens to come back home. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was Ivan Lishchyna. He's Ukraine's Deputy Minister of Justice and Government Commissioner for European Court of Human Rights. Thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned with UATV for more.